Yeah, he's the best in our division, and I think just me who can beat him right now.
And
Arman beats him.
wow.
I know I know what you're going to ask
Yeah.
me already, and I made that assumption right after the fight.
I have to finish the questions and finish. That's why the second fight, I will be looking for the finish and make everybody shut up.
UFC 311 is set to deliver a thrilling clash between two top lightweights, Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan. As the reigning champion, Makhachev is determined to prove why he holds the UFC lightweight gold, and he's ready to silence everyone with a finish that will leave no doubts. Tsarukyan stands in his way, bringing an impressive skill set and hunger to take the title. This showdown promises to be one of the most anticipated battles of 2025. Islam Makhachev's coach Javier Mendez recently shared how he and Khabib Nurmagomedov are preparing Islam Makhachev for his upcoming title defense against Arman Tsarukyan at UFC 311. Scheduled for January 18, 2025, this fight is shaping up to be one of Makhachev's toughest challenges, as Tsarukyan is known for his well-rounded skills and determination. According to Mendez, Makhachev's strength lies in his ability to adapt during fights. The team plans to focus on reading Tsarukyan's approach in real time and adjusting their strategy accordingly. Whether the fight unfolds on the ground or in stand-up exchanges, Makhachev's versatility and preparation are expected to give him an edge.
But I just don't know to what areas is going to be different. It's going to be what he's going to give us that we're going to take. Because, Islam, like I've said many a times, we can switch him from round to round, minute to minute, second to second, and how he fights. So Khabib and I would just have to assess what Arman comes to the table, and we'll have to see what we need to do adjust. And if we can implement our game plan, and it could be the ground or it could be stand-up, doesn't matter, because Islam can do it all.
Islam Makhachev's camp is undoubtedly one of the strongest in the world, with top-tier minds like Javier Mendez and the legendary Khabib Nurmagomedov shaping his every move. However, Arman Tsarukyan seems unfazed by the star-studded team behind the champion. In a recent interview, Tsarukyan made it clear that the strategies and plans crafted by Makhachev's corner won't be the deciding factor in this fight. Tsarukyan aims to disrupt Makhachev's dominant rhythm and throw him off his game. Tsarukyan's strategy mirrors a famous quote from Mike Tyson: "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face." Tsarukyan believes that if he lands a powerful punch, Makhachev will lose focus on his own game plan. Reflecting on his previous fight with Charles Oliveira, where a choke disrupted his strategy, Tsarukyan is determined to land a solid blow early on to break Makhachev's rhythm and gain control of the fight. For him, hurting Makhachev in the first round will make any pre-planned strategy irrelevant.
I think when game plan, when you got hard punch, you forgot about game plan. So if I hurt him very well, he's gonna forget about game plan. So it makes sense. Same as me when lost my fight. Oliveira choked me, trying to choke me, and after that moment, my game plan was gone. So I didn't remember what was my game plan even. So that's why I gotta hurt him very hard in the first round, and then it doesn't matter what game plan they have.
Arman Tsarukyan's dedication to his upcoming title fight against Islam Makhachev at UFC 311 is undeniable. While most people were enjoying their Christmas break on Wednesday, Tsarukyan and his team remained focused, training in the empty ATT gym on Christmas Day. This unwavering focus highlights just how seriously Arman is taking his title bout against Islam Makhachev. Despite the holiday, he's not letting up on his training, proving that he's fully committed to claiming the lightweight championship. Fast forward to now, and the dynamics have shifted. Makhachev is the undisputed pound-for-pound king of the UFC, with a 14-fight win streak, while Tsarukyan has climbed to new heights, taking down top opponents like Charles Oliveira and Beneil Dariush. This time, the stakes are higher, with Makhachev defending his lightweight championship. Fans are eager to see how the two fighters' skills have evolved since their first meeting, and if Tsarukyan can close the gap. The upcoming fight is looking even more promising than before, as coach Javier Mendez mentioned in an interview with Submission Radio. video. He urged fans to look beyond the first clash between Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan, emphasizing how both fighters have evolved significantly. Mendes highlighted the growth in skills on both sides, making this rematch an entirely new challenge. He pointed out Tsarukyan's impressive improvements and consistency, noting that his recent performances have cemented him as a top contender. At the same time, Makhachev's 14-fight unbeaten streak showcases his dominance and adaptability in the octagon. According to Mendes, the version of these fighters stepping into the ring at UFC 311 will be far different from their first meeting. Islam Makhachev's upcoming title defense against Arman Tsarukyan isn't just about protecting his belt, it's about silencing any doubts once and for all. Makhachev admitted that in their first fight, he may have underestimated Tsarukyan due to the short notice and lack of recognition around his opponent. Makhachev confessed he hadn't watched Tsarukyan's previous fights, but he acknowledged Tsarukyan did well in that bout. Now, with a title on the line, Makhachev is determined to answer all questions by securing a finish and proving his superiority.
But maybe I was underestimating because he's
short notice.
Nobody know him, and he don't have name, you know. And I never watch his fight, and he did well in that fight. But I like to finish the all questions, you know. When I have with Volkanovski the fight, I told everybody I have to finish the questions and finish, you know. That's why the second fight, I will be looking for the finish and make everybody shut up.
Makhachev made it clear that he doesn't like rematches, but he appreciates the chance to fight Tsarukyan again. He believes that having faced an opponent once gives him a distinct advantage. Unlike the first fight, where he had to adjust and figure out his opponent's game, this time Makhachev feels he has all the information he needs, reducing the element of surprise. With a clear understanding of what his opponent can do, Makhachev feels more confident and has more options to work with.
Honestly, I like to fight second time because, you know, I don't like rematch, but, you know, when I fought second time, I know everything what my opponent can do, and it's not gonna be surprise for me, you know. But sometimes when somebody like Dustin did defense wrestling and he like defends my submission skill, you know, it's a little bit surprised me. But when I know everything what my opponent will do, and you know, I have more options.
Drawing from Tsarukyan's past battles, particularly his tough fight against Charles Oliveira, Makhachev has analyzed the formula to defeat him. Tsarukyan earned his title shot by going toe-to-toe with Oliveira at UFC 300 in a close split decision, but Makhachev saw that Oliveira was able to nearly finish Tsarukyan in every round with submissions like guillotines and triangle chokes. Makhachev feels this gives him the upper hand, knowing he can exploit the same weaknesses Tsarukyan showed in that fight.
You know, Charles, every round almost finish him. Do some guillotine, do some triangle choke, like everything very close, but I think I have more chance.
Arman Tsarukyan also has full confidence in his ability to defeat his opponent. Tsarukyan has been vocal about his belief that he is the one who can beat Makhachev. Tsarukyan expressed his belief that he's the only one in the division who has the skills to take down Makhachev.
Yeah, he's the best in our division, and I think just me who can beat him right now.
When reflecting on their first meeting, Tsarukyan made it clear that he doesn't see Makhachev as an unbeatable force. He pointed out that despite Makhachev's reputation as a dominant wrestler, Tsarukyan managed to take him down when he was just 22 years old. This statement shows that Tsarukyan doesn't view Makhachev as an untouchable champion and believes that he has what it takes to win in their rematch.
He's not that good like people think.
Do you want to expand on that? Do you want to tell me what you mean by that?
No, I mean, like, people like think he's unbeatable and like crazy wrestler, but like I took him down when I was 22 years old. So.
According to Arman Tsarukyan, the pressure is more on Islam Makhachev than on him. Tsarukyan believes that if he loses, there won't be much backlash or criticism, but for Makhachev, the stakes are much higher. He emphasized that Makhachev has everything to lose in this fight, from his undefeated streak to his lightweight title. The expectations for Makhachev are enormous, and any slip-up could result in him losing not just the belt, but also his reputation as the top fighter in the division. For Tsarukyan, this rematch is like an opportunity to prove himself, and he knows that a loss won't have the same consequences for him as it would for Makhachev. With the odds stacked against Makhachev, Tsarukyan feels that this could be his moment to capitalize on the pressure and shock the world by dethroning the champion.
He has a title, he has a big team, he has a lot of people who helps him. So, but me, I'm a little bit different. If, never know, but if I lose, nobody gonna tell me anything, you know?
Yeah.
But he's gonna lose everything.
The hype surrounding the match between Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan is drawing attention from all corners of the MMA world. One of those paying close attention is newly crowned welterweight champion Belal Muhammad, a close friend and teammate of Makhachev at Team Khabib. When asked about the upcoming showdown, Muhammad didn't hesitate to back his teammate, citing Makhachev's consistent growth and dominance in the octagon. Muhammad pointed out that Islam has been improving with each fight, continually showcasing his well-rounded skill set. He highlighted Makhachev's performance against Dustin Poirier, where Islam not only out-wrestled his opponent but also displayed striking prowess, finishing the fight in a way many hadn't anticipated. For Muhammad, this was proof of Makhachev's complete MMA game. While he acknowledged Tsarukyan's talent, he firmly believes that Makhachev is currently on another level compared to anyone else in the lightweight division.
I mean, I think Islam showed that he gets better every single fight, and he's been dominating so many fights, and he showed you how much of a complete martial artist he is, especially in that fight with Dustin, where he outstruck Dustin, and people said that he would have to wrestle, he'd have to do this, and then he got the finish late in the fight. I just think he's going to be a little bit too much for Arman. Arman's obviously great fighter, but I just think Islam is levels above every single guy in that division right now.
Michael Chandler shared his thoughts on the fight, giving credit to Arman Tsarukyan for his impressive career. Chandler acknowledged Tsarukyan's growth, especially his recent win over Charles Oliveira, and even congratulated him after the fight, despite their differences. However, when it came to predicting the outcome of UFC 311, Chandler didn't hesitate to back Makhachev, expressing confidence that Islam would dominate Tsarukyan. Chandler's comments further amplified the anticipation for the upcoming title bout, and while he admitted to having a friendly rivalry with Tsarukyan, he made it clear that Makhachev remains the superior fighter. The debate continues to rage in the MMA world, with fighters like Belal Muhammad also sharing their belief that Makhachev is operating on another level.
No, there's not. You know, he's just a young, hungry dude, making his presence be known. You know, and he's matured. He's got some great wins. His last win was over Oliveira, my next opponent. So he's earned this title shot. This is going to be a rematch with him and Islam. He's doing his thing, but yeah, he doesn't like me. Says bad things about me. You know, after he beat Oliveira, I was actually I went back and congratulated him. I mean, I enjoy competing against people, whether they like me or don't like me. I'm going to always operate like I don't necessarily like the guy, my opponent, but I don't have anything against him. I don't go into the octagon with any malice or ill will in my heart. That's where I perform the best. Like I said, a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter, and that's my own personal I guess anecdote of my career thus far. But Arman's doing his thing, man. I wish him well. I think Islam absolutely smokes him, but at least he's got great hair.
Charles Oliveira, who has faced both fighters, shared his thoughts on their upcoming clash. Speaking to New York Post Sports through an interpreter, he noted that both Makhachev and Tsarukyan rely heavily on their ground games, but are equally capable in striking exchanges. The strategies they will employ in the octagon will likely mirror each other, with both fighters needing to be cautious of their opponent's strengths in both areas. However, Oliveira believes that Makhachev holds a slight edge in this matchup. According to him, while Tsarukyan has the skills to compete at a high level, Makhachev is just a step ahead, particularly in terms of strength and experience. But in MMA, as Oliveira wisely points out, anything can happen when the stakes are this high.
Olha, são estilos de lutas parecidos. São dois caras que gostam da parte agarrada, né? Dois caras que vêm evoluindo muito na parte em pé. Então, assim, eu acho que de verdade, o que tiver melhor no dia da luta, com certeza pode ser com a vitória. É jogo parecido.
They're very similar games. I think each has to kind of look out for the same things. You have to watch out for the striking because they do offer some striking, and they also have to be very mindful, obviously, of the ground game. But it's very, very similar strikers, very similar styles, and I think that they have to watch out for the same things on each other.
Eu acho que na realidade o Isla ele tá pouquinho à frente, né? Ele tá passinho à frente, nada demais, mas bem pouco ali. Né? O Isla tem, eu acho que tem um pouco mais de grappling e vem evoluindo um pouco mais na trocação, mas é pouca coisa. Por isso que eu falei que qualquer um pode vencer, o que tiver melhor no dia pode vencer.
As I said, whenever asked about this, I think that one of them is just a toe ahead of the other. And I think Islam is a step ahead of Arman. I think he's just stronger by a little bit, all categories. But I think when push comes to shove, any of them could win.
Michael Johnson, a former opponent of Khabib Nurmagomedov, has also picked Islam Makhachev to win the rematch against Arman Tsarukyan. Johnson, who was overwhelmed by Khabib Nurmagomedov at UFC 205, is no stranger to the power and pressure that comes from fighters from Team Khabib. Speaking on Mike Perry's podcast, Johnson expressed his support for Makhachev, stating he's confident in his takedown defense and improving striking. John Jones's coach, Brandon Gibson, has weighed in, calling Makhachev the favorite for the fight. In an interview with James Lynch, Gibson highlighted Makhachev's swift progression and his proven championship qualities, which he believes give Makhachev the edge. According to Gibson, Makhachev's recent performances, particularly against Dustin Poirier, have shown his ability to endure in tough situations, demonstrating his championship mindset. Gibson believes that Makhachev's growth as a champion will lead to a more dominant performance in this rematch, where Makhachev will showcase his grappling skills once again.
I think Islam is rightfully the favorite. He's racking up that championship experience. Like the bout with Poirier showed his championship character, like being able to really dig down deep in those later rounds, despite the cut, despite being wobbled. I think Islam's really growing as a champion, and I think we won't see such a close rematch between those two. I think Islam shows domination and showcases his grappling once again.
Most experts and professionals are leaning towards Islam Makhachev as the favorite to defend his lightweight title. However, Eddie Alvarez, a former UFC lightweight champion, has a different take. According to Alvarez, Makhachev is more vulnerable than Khabib Nurmagomedov due to his risk-taking style. Unlike Khabib, who would break his opponents down methodically, Makhachev is more aggressive in seeking finishes, which leaves him open to mistakes. Alvarez believes that Makhachev's approach is more exciting to watch, but also makes him more beatable. Alvarez also pointed out that Makhachev's team might be avoiding Tsarukyan, citing the Armenian's strong wrestling background as a potential threat to Makhachev's dominance. He emphasized that Tsarukyan's ability to resist Makhachev's takedowns, as seen in Poirier's fight, could give him an edge. Alvarez even went as far as picking Tsarukyan to win the fight, suggesting that if Tsarukyan can neutralize Makhachev's wrestling and make it a competitive fight, Makhachev's vulnerabilities might show.
He takes more chances, he takes more risks, and relies on finishing guys, where Khabib would he knew you weren't going to be able to deal with him over time, and he would take you from 100% energy to zero energy, and then he would finish you. Islam's he's going to go for it. He's going to leave himself more vulnerable. So he's a little bit funner to watch, but he's more susceptible to getting beat than Khabib was.
And
Arman beats him.
Wow.
I know what you're going to ask me already, and I made that assumption right after the fight.
Wow.
Because look at who Khabib went against, right?
Yeah.
Everybody Khabib defended against he had what I call distinct grappling advantage. The gap in their grappling advantage was so high, and he dominated these guys.
For Alvarez, the key to Tsarukyan's success lies in his wrestling skills, which could allow him to control the pace of the fight. He believes Tsarukyan might not only stop Makhachev's takedowns, but could even take the champion down at times. If Makhachev is not able to dominate from the top, Alvarez believes we might see him struggle in ways he hasn't before, giving Tsarukyan a real chance to win.
If you're able to match their wrestling a little bit, where they can't dominate you, and you could put them in a fight, you start to see they're a little bit human, right? So I think Arman, because of his wrestling background, he's going to be able to stop the shot. He may even take Islam down a little bit. Islam won't be the hammer the entire fight. And we need to see how they're going to deal with that, because they're always the hammer, always the hammer.
The first encounter between Makhachev and Tsarukyan was a tough challenge for the latter, but much has changed since their 2019 clash. Both fighters have evolved significantly, with Makhachev now at the peak of his career, riding a 14-fight win streak. Meanwhile, Tsarukyan has shown tremendous growth and has become one of the most formidable contenders in the division. Despite Makhachev's superior experience and record, Tsarukyan believes that he can break through and challenge the reigning champion's reign. What's your prediction for the big UFC 311 rematch between Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan? Who do you think will come out on top? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, where you get a daily dose of latest fight info.